Good morning, adult knowledge students. I am not able to be in today for our scheduled flex session. I'm really sorry to miss it. I'm bringing my daughter to a medical appointment. It was urgent. Mrs. James couldn't do it, so I had to take the day off from school. Hey, you want to say hi? You want to wave? All right. But I did want to check in with you because I promised some adult knowledge, and I'd like to deliver what I can. So along with this video, I'm going to post a link to the slides that I had. But the goal today, the essence of what I wanted to talk about was interview skills. And if you can have a good conversation, you can have a good interview. An interview is just slightly more formal than having a chat with somebody. And all you really need to understand is that in an interview, the other person would really like to find out if you're a good candidate for what they have to offer, whether that's a job or a position at their college. Jobs are interested in two things. Are you actually capable of doing the job? And the other thing that a job interviewer wants to know is if you're the kind of person they want to work with. So that comes down to personality. But the best advice I can give you is to be the best version of yourself. So don't lie, but also don't be completely honest about maybe some of the qualities you know aren't great. So it's really good to be natural in an interview. It's really good to be conversational without being casual. You don't want to curse in an interview or anything like that. And at the same time, you want to figure out if that's a person you want to work for. Because the last thing you need is a boss from hell. So those are the kinds of questions you might ask respectfully, like, how often am I going to be asked to work when I'm not scheduled? It would be a good question if you don't want to be suddenly surprised by work, right? It's not just about the pay. Anyway, that's job interviews a little bit. For college interviews, they're not interested in if you can do college work. Their two main concerns are you going to grow up to be either rich or famous? And either one of those two things will benefit the college. If you're rich, you're going to donate money. And if you're going to be famous, then whenever you do stuff, it'll be like, oh yes, the graduate of, the UConn program from the class of 2023, whatever your name is. And it's good publicity for the college. That's it. You need to have decent grades, but all those statistics about like average grades, those are the averages, and half the people that go to that college have lower than the average grade. So if you have you come off as authentic and honest, and you're asking this college admissions officer, you're trying to figure out if the college is right for you. Okay? If you don't want to ask if there's great parties, but you do want to ask if there's an active social life. Like, that's a slightly different way to ask the question. And it makes it sound like you're interested in hanging out with people, meeting people, making connections, which is all the kind of thing that people who go on to be successful in business, it's something they have to do. So that's just an example of the way you would want to frame a question. What I would like you to do, if you are still in my room for flex and there's a sub or not, is have a conversation with each other. And there's basically 4 parts to that. And they're laid out in the slide, but the gist is, introduce yourself and let someone know what your name is. And then you just start with a really casual question. And this works great with a stranger. But it could be like, why did they go to that flex period that day? Or it could be, it could be a comment about the fact that I'm not there. And can you believe this guy didn't show up? So whatever it is, something shared. And again, there's stuff that you're noticing, so you can just ask if other people notice it too. And from there, the conversation can develop. You can tell the other person, about yourself in response to their questions, and listen to what they say so that you can ask them more questions. Conversation is like playing catch. You don't want to hold the ball too long, and you also don't want to sit there waiting for someone to throw you the ball. So if you notice you're talking too long, try and bring it to a question for the other person so they can talk. Something you're curious about. if you notice that the other person is talking too long, like, it's okay to sort of throw in a little, like, oh, hey, well, what did you, bring them back on topic. Like, what did you really think about the adult knowledge class that you went to before? I've never been to one. That's, for example. And as that back and forth goes on, 10, 15 minutes later, you get to know what each other's goals are in the class, why you're there. Maybe you have some common interests, maybe not. But as the conversation wraps up, if it's casual, maybe you exchange contact information, maybe not. If it's an interview, there's really a question of what's the next step. Are you going to call me? Am I going to get something in the mail? Am I going to get something on email? How will I know what to do next? Whether that's a college interview or a job interview or some other type of interview. And that's, and that's the end of the conversation. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just something that you can get more comfortable with as you practice, and it starts off feeling uncomfortable. Of course, the first time you do anything, it's uncomfortable. But I think if you have one or two conversations with a random stranger from our flex, they're all cool people, they all wanted some adult knowledge, or they're my physics students who signed up to be with me this period. All of my physics students are also cool people. There's nobody mean, there's nobody's gonna make fun of you. It's a very, very, nerfed environment. So, best of luck to you. If you have any follow-up, throw comments in this video or put them in the remind. I will post this video for everybody else in our in adult knowledge in the remind group, but for now I'm just sending the link out to email to the people who signed up for Flex today, along with the slides for the show. I hope this helps you out. Have a good day.